In the life of an institution, not every year unfolds the same way. There are periods when the work continues quietly in the background, and there are years when several long-awaited developments become visible at once. For Bhaktivedanta College, 2025 was such a year. It was not a year of dramatic turning points, but a year of consolidation. It was the year when growth was matched by something just as important: stability. This could be seen in the classrooms, with student engagement, through the faculty's work, academic achievements, international relations, and in community life. What we are about to see is the story of many interconnected steps. Steps which by the end of the year had given a clear direction, and together defined the character of a successful institution. Perhaps the strength of a college is seen most clearly in whether students choose to enroll and whether they trust the institution enough to dedicate several years of their lives studying there. In 2025, 185 people applied to the college's programs. Following the admission process, 88 new students began their studies. Most of them chose the Yoga Studies program, while a smaller number enrolled in the Vaishnava Theology program. These figures are noteworthy in themselves, but even more significant is what they reveal. After the remarkable peak of 2021, interest did not decline. This confirms that it was not only a one-time surge, but a sign of enduring trust. It is also especially encouraging that in keeping with our strategic goals, the number of full-time students reached an all-time high. The full-time student community grew to 68, the highest number of full-time students in the history of the institution. All of this shows that Bhaktivedanta College has strengthened its place in Hungarian higher education. The growing student base and the expansion of full-time studies provide a solid foundation for confident, long-term growth. Another major story of 2025 was the strengthening of the college's academic profile. This work happens largely behind the scenes. It involves manuscripts, reviews, corrections, and long periods of steady, quiet preparation. Yet the future of a higher education institution is built precisely on this kind of work. In May, we celebrated 2 new PhD graduates. Shyamasundar Das and Manjari Devi Dasi earned their doctoral degrees, and in September they continued their work at the college as assistant professors. In November, Maharani Devi Dasi delivered her habilitation lecture. Additionally, Gaura Krishna Das and Ishvara Krishna Das completed their habilitation theses. The submission of Rangini Devi Dasi's dissertation is expected in 2026. When we place these developments side by side, we no longer see isolated milestones, but a clear direction. The college's academic foundation is growing stronger. And it is precisely this kind of work that makes becoming a university possible. It is built through people who pursue their research over many years and who bring that knowledge back into the college's academic life. In this way, Bhaktivedanta College is not only a place of education, but a genuine intellectual community where teaching and research strengthen each other. In 2025, a new chapter opened in our teaching. Our 2-semester English language program was launched. This was more than a simple expansion of the curriculum. With it, the college began to operate in a new linguistic and academic environment. One notable element of the program was the modern yoga course taught by Dr. Janne Kontala, also known as Jayananda Das, author of Inner Yoga, published by the BBT. He joined us from Finland and spent 2 months teaching at the college. During this period, he not only taught the course, but also led yoga classes and professional training sessions. His presence was especially valuable because it brought international academic experience, new student interest, and a broader educational outlook for the institution. In 2025, the college's international presence became especially prominent. This could be seen in visits, negotiations, agreements, guest lectures, and mobility programs. A particularly important milestone was the college's own international conference, which became a significant meeting point for scholars. Among the speakers were Dr. Janne Kontala, Dr. Mukesh Kumar Srivastava, and Dr. Amrita Sarkar. The value of the conference was not only in its invited guests, but also in the fact that Bhaktivedanta College faculty members presented their own research. In this way, participants gained insight into the scholarly work that forms the foundation of teaching at the college. In February, the college welcomed a 3-member delegation from Bhutan. Around this time, our rector visited the delegation's home institution, Royal Thimphu College, where he gave a guest lecture to anthropology students on India's cultural heritage. He also discussed potential future collaborations with the institution's leadership. In Turkey, ties deepened with Ankara University and Boğaziçi University. In October, an inter-institutional agreement was signed with S. Vyasa University in India. Then, in December, His Excellency Anshuman Gaur, Ambassador of India to Hungary, paid an official visit to the college. International mobility also emerged as a dynamic new opportunity for students. They joined practical training programs at ISKCON temples in Italy and Georgia, attended the Bhakti Festival in Romania, and carried out research work in Finland. Our theology MA alumna, Nori Kovac, spent 5 months in India, where in cooperation with Bhaktivedanta Research Center, she successfully completed a Bengali language course. Faculty mobility added another significant dimension. Bonn, Brno, Łódź, Australia, the United States, and Slovenia all became part of the map on which Bhaktivedanta College became increasingly visible in 2025. Our faculty also represented the college in a wide range of forums, from scholarly conferences and cultural events to public outreach programs. One of the notable lessons of 2025 was that Bhaktivedanta College's voice proved to be credible in a variety of settings. In the international academic sphere, Ishwara Krishnadas spoke at the conference Evolution 2025, Philosophy, Facts and Fiction, organized by the Bhaktivedanta Institute for Higher Studies in Florida, where he explored whether evolutionary theory adequately explains the origin of species. Later, in a separate project with the same institute, he analyzed the relationship between evolution and animal intelligence. Amritananda Devidasi took part in the World Archaeological Congress, both as a session chair and as a speaker. This was a particularly important milestone in strengthening the college's visibility in the wider international academic community. Gaurasundar Kripamoya Das's presentations also contributed to this international profile. In Florida, drawing on the 3rd canto of the Bhagavad Purana, he offered insights into the relationship between speciation and levels of consciousness. At the World Archaeological Congress, he discussed the Manipuri Sankirtan tradition, and later in the year, at the International Conference on Tantric Studies in Ljubljana, he presented a scholarly perspective on Gaudiya Vaishnava religious practice. The college's presence within Hungary was also strong, both professionally and culturally. Amritananda Devidasi presented her archaeological research in India at the Hungarian National Museum. During the Night of Museums, she lectured to a full house at the Ferenc Hoppe Museum. On the International Day of Yoga, our institution took part as an honored guest at the program hosted by the Embassy of India. In the India Knowledge Series, organized by the Cultural Center of the Embassy, our faculty offered different glimpses into Indian culture and thought. Amritananda Devidasi, in conversation with Anna Aklan, explored the art and architecture of India. Rangini Devidasi and Gaurasundar Kripamoya Das spoke about the significance of yoga in Hungary. At the closing event, Gaurasunda Kripamoya Das drew attention to the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Not only did our faculty speak about the heritage of tradition, but they also responded to questions of the modern age. This was shown especially in the work of Ishvara Krishnadas, who explored the relationship between artificial intelligence and spirituality in an interreligious dialogue. The professional profile of 2025 thus brought together tradition and contemporary engagement, scholarly rigor, and public relevance. One of the quieter yet tangible aspects of 2025 was the series of sustainability initiatives. Acoustic improvements were carried out in the 2 lecture halls using recycled materials. The charity box system was launched, allowing unneeded items to find new owners. The college joined the European Week for Waste Reduction, took part in a mobile phone recycling initiative, and successfully organized a sustainability swap fair, where participants exchanged used items. These steps mattered because sustainability did not remain an abstract slogan, but became a practical part of the college's daily life. The life of a college cannot be understood through data alone. It reveals itself just as much through the occasions around which it brings people together. In 2025, Bhaktivedanta College enjoyed a rich year of community life. These included the National Education Expo, our open days for prospective students, introducing sacred chanting in public spaces, the Solstice Yoga Festival, the joyful Rath Yatra Festival, graduation celebrations, the college's formal gathering known as the Swan Ball, the traditional Bhaktivedanta Day, and for the first time, Researchers' Night. These events reached different audiences, yet all formed part of the same unifying purpose. Particularly memorable was the Mantra Meditation Challenge announced during Kartik. More than 100 current and former students joined the challenge, and most of them fulfilled their pledge. Each day, they chanted at least 1 round of the Maha Mantra. Meanwhile, the alumni community also continued to grow stronger. Several joint programs and professional connections were established, including a walk along the Bhakti Path at the Ferenc Hoppe Museum of Asiatic Arts, developed with the professional contribution of Shyamasundar Das and Amritananda Devi Dasi. It is encouraging to see that after graduation, the relationship with students does not end, but continues in a new form. In 2025, Bhaktivedanta College continued to offer a wide range of learning opportunities beyond its degree programs. During the year, we announced 45 different course types, and 71 individual courses were launched, with nearly 900 participants in total. These figures are especially important because they clearly show that the college's social presence extends far beyond the circle of degree-seeking students. For many people, short courses and workshops provide an accessible first encounter with new perspectives, meaningful practices, and questions they may not have considered before. They serve as points of entry, careful first steps that may in time lead to a deeper connection. In 2025, the results of our digital communication showed that our messages were reaching people. The performance of our newsletters significantly exceeded industry averages. The admission newsletter achieved an open rate of 51.3%, while our internal student bulletin reached 47.6%. The admissions campaign also recorded an outstanding click-through rate of 9.9%. The performance of the Yogapont newsletter similarly reflected steady interest and consistent engagement. These numbers indicate that our audience is genuinely interested in what the college has to say. If we place the year's main features side by side, a clear picture emerges. 185 applicants, 88 new students, and a record number of full-time students. New doctoral degrees and habilitation progress, newly launched English language programs, international agreements, visits, and partnerships, faculty presence in scholarship, culture, and interreligious dialogue, steps in sustainability, a rich community year, broad social reach, communication that attracted real interest. Taken together, this is no longer simply a list of events, but an annual portrait of an institution. And that portrait shows that in 2025, Bhaktivedanta College continued to build, to deepen, and to grow stronger. It expanded its reach while remaining faithful to its core mission. Behind the visible achievements of a college, there is also a great deal of quiet work. Time, attention, perseverance, patience, and service. Gratitude is owed to all those who made last year's work possible. The devotee community, our supporters, the leadership of ISKCON Hungary, the faculty, the staff, and the students. We continue into 2026 with confidence because we have a solid foundation to build on, and because Bhaktivedanta College is sustained by a living community in which knowledge, practice, and responsibility remain deeply connected. As we enter the next chapter, we look forward to new encounters, shared learning, and further opportunities to serve through education, research, and community life.